Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear students, today's topic is the spleen. Spleen is one of the largest and biggest lymphoid organs. Rather, it is known as the hemolymph organ because one of the functions of the spleen is to filter the blood. It also produces the lymphocytes, but the main function is that it is the graveyard of the intruders. So blood is filtered, blood is passing through the sinusoids of the spleen instead of the lymph. As we have seen in the case of the lymph node has got the lymphatic sinuses in which the lymph is percolating and the lymph is circulating and lymph is being filtered in the lymph node. But in the spleen, the major function of the spleen is the filtration of the blood. Spleen is of the size of the fist of a normal human being and is lying in the left hypochondrium. As regards the structure of the spleen is covered by a thick connective tissue capsule which is made up of the collagen fibers, there are reticular fibers, and there are some smooth muscles also, because the spleen has got the capability of contraction, because spleen is one of the functions of the spleen is that it is the storehouse for the blood, and when need arises the spleen contracts to pour its blood into the circulation. When we see under the microscope, the spleen has got the connective tissue trabeculae which are coming from these trabeculae divide the substance of the spleen into smaller compartments which are sometimes referred to as these lobules. When we see a fresh specimen of the spleen with the naked eye, we will find two areas. There is the red and white. So because the structure of the spleen is just like a sponge, pulpy in appearance, so we will divide the spleen into the red pulp and the white pulp. With the naked eye, the red pulp is very darkly stained, but under the microscope, when we will see, the red pulp will be lightly stained, because the red pulp is made up of the splenic sinusoids and there are cords of Billroth. These are the anastomosing and branching cords which are made up of the lymphocytes, the plasma cells, the different types of erythrocytes and the mast cells. As regards the white pulp is the typical lymphatic tissue. You will find the splenic nodules here which are known as the Malpighian bodies or the Malpighian corpuscles. So the white pulp, which is known as white, when we see with the naked eye, this will be seen under the microscope, a very darkly stained area, because these splenic nodules are made up of the small lymphocytes which are very darkly stained, and this has got a typical structure. The splenic nodules, they have got the germinal center as well as the cortex. The germinal center, which is lightly stained and composed of lymphoblasts, and through this germinal center, rather eccentric to the germinal center, there is an arteriole which is here known as the central artery. Central artery always lying eccentrically because it avoids the germinal center, and this is one of the branches of the splenic artery. So microscopically, the parenchymal tissue of the spleen consists of two major components, the white pulp and the red pulp. The white pulp is composed of lymphoid tissue in which B and T lymphocytes mature and proliferate under antigenic stimulus. The red pulp is a unique filtration device that enables the spleen to clear particulate material from the blood as it perfuses the spleen. It is composed of a complex system of interconnected spaces populated by large number of phagocytic macrophages. The red pulp constitutes the majority, that is 75% of the total splenic volume is the red pulp. It contains large numbers of venous sinusoids that ultimately drain into tributaries of the major splenic veins. Now, these sinusoids, they gives rise to the pulp veins, and these pulp veins, they unite to gives rise to the trabecular veins or the interlobular veins, and interlobular veins unite together to gives rise to the splenic vein, and the splenic vein, it comes out through the hilum of the spleen. In this slide you can see the red pulp and the white pulp, the circular collection of the lymphocytes in the form of the lymphatic nodules, which contain an arteriole in the which is passing through the lymphatic nodule, and this is eccentrically placed, the central artery. Always the Malpighian corpuscle is recognized. The difference between the splenic nodule of the lymph node and the other lymphatic organs and the spleen is the presence of this central arteriole, central artery. So you can see that this is the spleen. When we cut a section, you will find that it is surrounded by a connective tissue capsule, and this connective tissue capsule sends trabeculae inside, divide the splenic pulp into smaller compartments which are known as the lobules. Here you can see in this diagram, this is the capsule of the spleen, and these are the trabeculae which enters into the spleen and dividing the spleen into smaller compartments. This is the lymphatic nodule, this is the lymphatic nodule, this is the lymphatic node. This is the white pulp, and the rest of the area in which you can find the cords of Billroth, which are anastomosing and branching, and in between these cords of Billroth there are sinusoids, the blood sinusoids. The blood is passing through these, it is circulating through these sinusoids. A splenic sinusoid is characterized by that this is a dilated blood vessel which is distensible and dilated, and as regards its lining, this is endothelium, and there are very specialized phagocytic cells which are known as the littoral cells, which are lying in the lining of the sinusoids. Then the endothelial cells, they are lying over a discontinuous basal lamina, and there are pores in the wall of the endothelial cells. These are the characteristic features of a splenic sinusoid. The venous sinusoids. The splenic sinusoids have irregular lumen, and they are highly distensible, 20 to 30 microns in diameter. Number 2. The sinus wall consists of specialized endothelial cells, which are known as the littoral cells, which are rod shaped and run longitudinally in the vessel wall. These belong to the MPS, that is mononuclear phagocyte system, and the function of the littoral cells is the phagocytosis. Number 3. Between the adjacent endothelial cells are present large gaps that allow the exchange of formed elements of blood between the sinusoids and adjoining lymphoid tissue. So there are gaps in between the endothelial cells. The endothelial cells rest on an incomplete basal lamina and are supported by the transversely arranged reticular fibers. Reticular tissue of these splenic cords. You can see these are the reticular fibers, which are gyrophilic and stained with silver nitrate. They gives rise to the black coloration. So the stroma of the lymphatic organs is always made up of the reticular tissue. As I have told you, there are reticulocytes, reticular cells. For better understanding of the microstructure of the spleen, we have to study the blood supply of the spleen. As you know, there is a hilum of the spleen. On one side there is an indentation, and this indentation is called the hilum of the spleen. The splenic artery enters into the spleen through the hilum, and then it divides into smaller branches which are known as the trabecular arteries or interlobular arteries. These are the trabecular arteries passing through the trabeculae, and then these trabecular arteries, they leave the trabeculae and they enter into the pulp, and in the pulp these arteries are surrounded by the lymphocytes, and these lymphocytes, they are forming the periarterial lymphatic sheaths, PALS, PALS, periarterial lymphatic sheaths. And these periarterial lymphatic sheaths are actually, this is the formation of the white pulp. When this artery divides and redivides and it reaches the dimension of a central arteriole, this artery is at that time surrounded by a fusiform or circular collection of the lymphocytes, which is known as the lymphatic nodule. And now this artery, that is the branch of the pulp artery, this has become so thin that it has become an arteriole, and this arteriole passes through the lymphatic nodule eccentrically, avoiding the germinal center. And after this central arteriole, then it comes out from the lymphatic nodule or the white pulp, and then it gives rise to the penicillar arteries. These penicillum means the brush, painter's brush. Penicillar arteries are named because these are straight small branches, and these branches, then they have got three components. The longest one, the proximal component of the penicillar artery, is called the pulp artery. This pulp artery then gives rise to the sheathed or ellipsoids. These are the ellipsoids, the elliptical branches which are surrounded by a sheath of tissue. And these sheath arteries, then they gives rise to the 2 or 3 terminal arterial capillaries, and these terminal arterial capillaries, then they enter into the sinusoids. Here there is a controversy that the scientists believe that there is an open circulation theory and there is a closed circulation theory. The supporters of the open circulation theory, they believe that the terminal arterial capillaries, they just pour their blood into the pulp, and from there the sinusoids collect the blood. But the supporters of, or the histologists which believe in closed circulation theory, they say that the terminal arterial capillaries, they enter into the sinusoids to pour their blood into the sinusoids directly. But nowadays it is said that the both open and closed circulation is going on in the splenic pulp. So this was about the blood supply of the spleen. Let's talk about the functions of the spleen. The filtration of the blood is the major function. The spleen constitutes an important defense center against the microorganisms that manage to enter the circulation. Owing to the abundance of phagocytic cells and close contact between the blood and the cell, the spleen reacts promptly to remove the antigens carried in the blood. Another function of the spleen is the production of the lymphocytes. As I have said that there are splenic nodules, and in the splenic nodules there are germinal centers, and lymphoblastic proliferation is going on in these germinal centers. The third function of the spleen is the destruction of the old and worn out erythrocytes, and this is carried out by the macrophages located in the wall of the sinusoids. I have told you about the littoral cells which belong to MPS, that is mononuclear phagocyte system. These are the cells which engulf these worn out and old erythrocytes present in the circulation. The storage of the blood is also another function of the spleen. As I have already told you that the splenic capsule is contractile, having the smooth muscles, and this is because of the fact that the sponge-like structure of the spleen has got the capacity to store the blood, but this storage capacity is not very well pronounced in the case of the human being. But in certain animals like the cats and the dogs and camels, the spleen is a big structure and it contains a lot of blood, and whenever there is hypovolemia, the contraction of the spleen, it gives rise to the blood, it pours the blood into the circulation. So this was about the spleen.